Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video where I want to share with you my top tips which really help me lose weight and actually maintain my weight. I know that, for a long time I was doing the whole yo-yo dieting scenario, and I was losing weight, but then of course always gaining it back again, and my weight was very up and down for a long time. So I thought today I would share some of my own tips, things that I implemented into my lifestyle, which will probably help you a lot and help you sort of step away from dieting and actually losing weight in a very healthy way and in a sustainable way, because that's really the important thing. So my first tip today that I want to share with you is all about structure. There was a point in my life where there was no structure around my eating habits. Like some days I was always wanting to lose weight, so that was always the priority first of all. And some days I would eat barely nothing, in the hope that that would help me lose weight. And then the next day I would sort of overeat and binge, and I would eat later in the evening, big heavy meals later in the evening. So there was absolutely no structure in my eating habits at all. And I knew that obviously this really wasn't supporting me. So one of the things that I did was I got this structure back into my lifestyle. And this is actually something that is very easy, but really is so powerful, because when you have structure in your eating habits, and what I mean by that is having 3 meals per day, plus snacking in between, and being organized with it. But when you do this, it helps you so much, because you have a plan. You know what you're eating. You don't feel like you're going to have lots of sugar cravings, because there's structure in there. You're eating every 2 to 3 hours, and it really makes a difference. People think that in order to lose weight you have to severely drop your calories or really restrict yourself. You can do that, but you're never going to be able to sustain that weight loss that you get by going for this sort of approach. So my really top tip would be just to get structure back into your eating habits. Introduce healthy meals into your lifestyle. Don't feel like you have to cut out meal times or you shouldn't be snacking. Go for 3 meals per day and be snacking in between, and then take it from there. That should be your first sort of action step, is to get structure back in, and then you can sort of move on to the next step once you've got yourself into that sort of routine. And that helped me a lot. So I would I'd really say that that's a very important part of losing weight, and of course maintaining it. And once you make that a habit, that's something that you will continue to do for the rest of your life, which is amazing. So that's my first tip. My second tip is I had done every single diet in the book. Just tell me a diet and I will probably say that I've done that one. They never worked. I would maybe lose weight very quickly within a short period of time, but then of course the weight would come piling back on within a matter of weeks or months. And I think in the end I got very fed up, I got frustrated, and I thought, this is never going to work, So something else has to happen here, because I can't keep going on these diets all the time and wanting the quick results and not wanting to put the work in, just wanting to do something for maybe a couple of weeks, and then that was it. I realized that I had to just create a healthy lifestyle, and that this had to be something that I would do for the rest of my life. So I quit the diet, and what I do now, and what I did when I was also losing weight, was I went for the sort of 80-20 approach, which is also what I coach my clients with these days. And that basically is that 80% of the time you're going to be focusing on a real nutritious wholesome food, but then 20% of the time you're going to allow yourself, maybe that's something that isn't so nutritious or healthy, but that's okay. It's really important for you to get the balance in, because that makes it sustainable. So try to go for this sort of approach, the 80-20 approach. This doesn't mean that 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, you eat healthy, and then Saturday and Sunday goes out the window, you eat completely unhealthy food. That's not the way it should be, because you're not going to get results, and maybe you will actually gain weight by taking this approach. So the weekend you still want to be healthy, but maybe you might go out for dinner, or maybe you might treat yourself to really nice ice cream, or whatever that is that you fancy, you know, allow it in, get the balance in, and know that it's okay to not eat perfect all the time. So think of the 80-20 perspective, and I feel that makes a healthy lifestyle actually sustainable. Okay, and my third tip, which was hugely beneficial and was more about the sort of mindset, relationship around food that I had developed, because I was, you know, experiencing or doing a lot of emotional eating. So I really had to dig a little bit deeper into my relationship around food. One of the first things I done was I stopped, you know, calling food good or bad. I got rid of food labels, because when you have these sort of labels, it's really not going to help you create a positive relationship around food. Because if you eat something that you deem bad, then maybe you're going to punish yourself, or maybe you're going to give up and eat more bad food, or you're going to feel guilty. There's a lot of different things that will happen when you eat this bad food. So I just completely got that out of my head, and I removed it completely. And I just focused on saying to myself, well, I want to eat healthy food most of the time, but I know it's still okay to include the foods that are maybe not so healthy within moderation. So I got rid of the labels. I also stopped feeling guilty when I would maybe eat something that maybe wasn't so healthy. I would just enjoy it and know that this is part of life, and that this is actually okay, that I'm not going to gain a lot of weight just by eating one ice cream. You know, that's definitely not going to happen. So I wouldn't feel guilty. I would simply just enjoy it and then get back into my healthier routine after it, rather than sort of sabotaging myself, maybe eating more, or thinking that I had ruined everything, when that's really, really not the case. So remove like guilty feelings. Don't say to yourself that you're not allowed something, you know. Like I would always say, oh, I'm not allowed this, or I'm not allowed to eat that. And when I would say this to myself, generally it would be maybe on a Sunday night. I would be preparing for my diet to start on Monday, of course. And I would say, okay, so for this whole week, I'm not allowed to eat chocolate, I'm not allowed to eat anything sweet, and I would give myself all these rules. And then on Sunday night, I would think to myself, well, now I have all these rules, and I'm not allowed to eat any of this food. Tonight, I'm going to overeat. So this would happen basically every Sunday. I would want to overeat on all the foods that I thought I wasn't going to be allowed all throughout the week. And this was a really negative relationship that I had with food, you know. So the best thing to do is to not say that you're not allowed certain things, because you're never going to be able to sustain that pattern of eating. You know, maybe you can for a longer period of time. I could only do it for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. But generally it's not possible, and having everything in a little bit of balance is totally fine. So don't say you're not allowed to eat things, because that's when your brain will actually want to eat it and want to eat more of it. So beware of that as well. So that's my 3 tips. You know, I'll just go over them again. It was getting the structure back in, which was number 1. Number 2 was quitting diets and going for the 80-20 approach. And of course, number 3 was removing all rules, restrictions, labels, negative self-talk around food. So these are 3 things that really, really helped me along my journey. And I think that they will definitely help you as well, especially if you're in a sort of yo-yo dieting cycle at the moment. So let me know what you think of these tips. I would love to know if you're currently doing these yourself, or you have any other tips for me. Please, I would love to know. So comment below the video with what you're up to at the moment, and I will certainly get back to you. So I will see you soon in another video.